Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast, emergency UFC edition. We got the UFC MMA expert Chuck Marlowe with us for a very special podcast. Typically, we weren't going to be coming back until closer to the Dustin Poirier fight and all that, but we had to come back right here, right now, because breaking news, if you've been living under a rock, Jon Jones just abruptly retires from the UFC. Chuck's here to tell you about the timeline, how we got here, his initial thoughts, his thoughts now that he's had some days to sleep on it, and how we're going to remember Jon Jones. So let's just pass it to Chuck. Chuck, man, what the heck happened?
Jon Jones is what happened. That's the only way I can think of to describe it. Jones happened. Jones family. I mean, that's how this is. This is how I think this is all going to be remembered in the end. Jones family. Oh, John. Oh man, you have the people going. I mean, I know this is probably super entertaining for him sitting there on Twitter all day, making these posts, sitting all these different reactions and all this different stuff. He's like, the people are eating this up. I'm so like famous. Like, I think this is at this point, I'm realizing this is who John is. He likes it. He likes getting people riled up. He likes the comments. He likes his name being relevant. He likes everyone doing the music because what it does is just make him more business and more money, and that's what he likes. He's like, just keep on doing it, people. This whole lead up to him retiring was just him getting people to mention his name and get him endorsements. He was so popular, everyone kept mentioning that he was ducking Tom Aspinall, and it kept his name so relevant and kept him just floating above, and just everyone kept just pushing at it, which got him more endorsements. Like he kept saying to everybody, like, I'm getting endorsements, I'm making so much money. That was his big comeback to every single thing that everyone said to him. So it was kind of a little bit of writing on the wall there. Because what did I say? What happens to fighters once they start making money that they don't make in the UFC and they don't have to put their life on the line? They're going to retire and they don't really care. At that point, they're checked out. And at this point, I think John's been making life-changing money and he's checked out.
Yeah, because I was shocked when this happened. This happened June 21st, 7:02 p.m. ESPN first announced it. I remember sharing it with everyone in our little group message. They're like, "Hey, Jon Jones just retired," and it wasn't clickbait. Dana White was the one announcing. Then unceremoniously, Tom Aspinall became the new undisputed heavyweight champion. And Chuck, they were talking about this fight was gonna happen. It was gonna happen, like I said, and then Dana said the fight was ready, and then John just calls him and says he's done. Like, Chuck, that's got a lot of, especially for you, like a lot of pure fight fans bummed. Like, what the heck? How do you retire like that?
I don't even think the pure fight fans are bummed, if I'm being honest. I
Whoa.
mean, I'm not bummed. I mean, I get it, John. Maybe if I'm in your shoes, I understand differently. I'm not in your shoes, but like that title reign, 800 and some, I don't even remember how many days, just holding that belt and that title, not being active. Like someone with that amount of time would put in so many fights, and they would, if you were really the undisputed, the greatest of all time, I feel like you'd be active. I get it
Hmm.
with the age and stuff. Maybe you want to heal more, spend more time with your family, do stuff. You have a little bit more luxury when you're at the top. I get it. You don't have to fight crazy amount like someone like Kevin Holland or like any other of those fighters who usually fighting back to back on a 2 to 4 week notice or a month or two notice, like Alex Pereira or others like that. Like you don't have to do all that. But like, damn, at least give us a fight every shit 8 to 9 months. I mean, eight to 9 months isn't even hard to ask for. I feel like that's enough time for a training camp. But I mean, even based off of the last fight when he came in to fight Stipe, like his body shape wasn't anything insane. I thought with the amount of training camp that he had between him and Stipe, I think he looked better than the one original heavyweight fight against Cyril Gane. Like I didn't think he looked big like he looked there. His weight was a little bit more well managed, but he still didn't even look insanely ripped. I don't think he's putting as much time in the gym to work out and train and stay in the fight shape that he wants to stay in. He's making so much money doing everything else. I don't think he feels the value or need to have to do anything else. So, I mean, I don't think his head's in it because the money's there. That's just like every other fighter once they start making that amount of money. I mean, it's not enticing. Why am I putting my life on the line for my fam? Like when I have my family to just go hang around. But we'll get to that also later.
Yeah, because he kept tweeting like stuff recently, like, "Oh, it's coming, blah blah blah. I don't really need to. I'm living my life. I don't really gotta. It's all my time." Tom Aspinall kept saying it was John was the one holding it back, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, just to retire, like that
Well, I
it
mean,
doesn't sit right with me, man. It's really
well,
not.
I think it's funny they pulled up the old video of Tom in the interview and he was like, I'm gonna retire him without even fighting him.
Hmm.
And what the hell did he do? You made him look a thousand. John did it to himself there with that. He did it 1,000 times worse. I don't even, I just like, I don't know. Oh, it's just, it's insane to think about because like you would think with all the buildup and all this stuff and everyone saying you're ducking, you're ducking, you're ducking, and then you decide to retire.
Yes.
And then you know what? I mean, you want to know the other thing that I'm thinking about? What
Hmm.
if this is all just a big old fucking show? You know, this is ran by TKO now. So what if this like, we're gonna bring we're gonna bring the WWE aspect into this shit now. You know what, John? Act like you're still John, you know? That's my one, not even 1%, like my 0.05 of a percent, like chance of hope that maybe they're like, all right, psych, fights happen and they're trying to build buy-in or some shit. Doubt it. Highly doubt it. But that would be hilarious scenario. And I just want to say that I said it first if it actually does happen.
Yeah, it would be for
That's
you
not
to.
happening,
It's
probably. I
not.
think
It's
this seems legit, but like it just don't make no sense to me. And like I'm surprised that his ego didn't let him hold the belt for another 2 months so that way he can beat Cain Velasquez's heavyweight title reign and have the longest heavyweight title reign. I'm surprised he didn't do that. I mean, this just makes Tom look so much more better. And then this only builds up the hype so much more for him in his next fight, whoever that will be. They're saying Cyril Gane. I don't think Cyril Gane really deserves to fight him next. Maybe look, I think they need to have two high contenders fight, and then whoever wins that goes on to fight him. Something like that, for instance. But I don't know. That's later down the road.
I agree with that. That you can't just have a new number one. You can't just pick someone. Oh yeah, you're the number one contender. Go against Tom. You gotta have like a little competition
I
to
mean,
see who can do
they
it.
they have their number one contenders and stuff, and like I understand that like there's already number one contenders there. Like technically Tom Aspinall as the interim champion was the number one contender. But right now, Cyril Gane's the number one contender. He felt already fought against John for the belt, and that wasn't an entertaining fight. He's also fought other fighters for the belt, and it wasn't entertaining fights. So maybe look for like Alexander Volkov or Sergey Pavlovich. Curtis Blades just won, but that wasn't even an entertaining fight, and I don't really feel like that was a fair win for him because I don't feel like he really won that fight. Alton Almeida. Like when you start looking at the names, you're like, no one's really had a great enough resume to where you're like, I want to see them fight for the title. The only person maybe is Alexander Volkov, which just might be a little bit of a toss up just because his length, and it might be a little entertaining. Even though I think he already lost to Tom like I don't remember how many years, how long ago was that? I don't know, but that's going on to Tom, and that's going on to the future with heavyweight division. This is here to talk about John and John.
Yeah, it's just still, man. Like the shocking about it. Then if he was gonna retire, if this was the plan all along, we should have just got it over and done with. So
Yeah,
Aspinall
why
could have fought. Because Chuck, when's the last time the world heavyweight champion, the belt was on a pay-per-view? When was the last fight night?
they were fighting for the heavyweight belt?
Like that John fought that the
Oh,
heavyweight belt was on.
oh,
What?
November 16th, 2024.
Jesus.
Stipe. That was the last fight. And that was, I mean, like, really, it wasn't that crazy of a fight. I mean, Stipe looked old and tired and like he really wasn't in it anymore. John just looked like he was a sharper fighter because he still has it in him. If he actually tried, he'd be even a lot better. But I just don't think he's in it anymore like he wants to be or like he should be. And I mean, that's how most fighters are. If you're not 110% in the game, like you're gonna lose because the other fighters, they're hungry. And if they want to get to the top, they're putting their 110% in every single day. I've seen some people like who really want to make it. Like they worked factory jobs. They're sitting there making what was it? They're making the laundry, like the washers and dryers. And so
Hmm.
like what they would do to condition their shins, they would sit there and bang their shins on the doors and on the parts in the metal to condition their shins. And like that's how hard some of these people take this. Like they eat, sleep, and breathe. They make this part of their whole daily routine and they're like training 110% to get to that top level. And some people aren't in it like that. And once you start not getting in it like that, that's when you slip up and you make a mistake in a fight because you're not at your 110%. And I think that's what John's realizing probably, and he knows that he's not going to be at his 110% maybe for Tom Aspinall, and maybe that's why he's like, all right, let's just hang it up. So maybe
I,
he is ducking.
I mean, that's the thing that everyone's talking about. Oh, is he ducking? Oh, he's not ducking. This or that. But bro, the
He said
timing
he's
of
doing
it.
this, he's doing that, he's doing this promotion. I just started this company. I'm just now doing this. He said that's busy. That's filling up your hours through your day. That's a lot of hours that you're not training. That's a lot of hours you're not in the gym. That's a lot of hours you're not preparing for your next opponent. So he's probably not in it anymore, like he wants to.
What, ah, man,
Plus
I
other
just
stuff he's tied up in.
yeah, and we'll get to that. I just don't understand how Dana lets that be though. Like almost a whole year, you're the world heavyweight champ. That's supposed to be your top champion, in my opinion. And then they don't fight, and then you have a match that everyone wants to see at the point in time. And John's like, I don't feel like we're doing the money's right. And then of course after retirement, Dana's like, oh no, we were gonna have it. He just called me magically and said he's done. Like, come on now.
No, I feel like Dana was working it. I feel like Dana actually was like, I feel like they were there. And then John was like just kind of fucking around with them. And he was kind of like, damn, should I do it? Should I not do it? And I feel like he didn't, like, I legit think it's a duck. It's a duck. It sounds like a duck when you think about how the scenario sounds. Because if you're building up to it and if it actually is there, then you're probably like, oh shit. But everyone's trying to spin narratives. You don't know till you really actually know all the truth to everything. That's the thing that sucks about it all. You don't know the actual truth. No one does.
And what do you? Ah, man, I just feel like you just put the whole thing in a little titsy. Because again, you're Jon Jones, man. No press conference. Like, usually with these big names, we know, like, hey, they're gonna retire. Let's pay our respects.
Yeah, like this is their last fight. We know
Mm,
this is going like Stipe, we knew coming into the fight, this is his last fight. He's done here. Cowboy Cerrone, do we know this is your last fight? Like Amanda Nunes, Amanda, yeah, kind of. I mean, like the way they just bring them on, like they it's their last fight. They take the gloves off, start putting them up on the mat. You're like, all right, they're done. They're hanging it up. There's that closure. But there was no closure with this one. Came in unexpected.
yeah, I mean, that's tough because the last match we have to remember him is the Stipe.
Yeah. So sorry, can you repeat that? Because my mic cut out for a
Oh
second.
no, no, no! It's just like the last match we have to remember him by is the Stipe fight, and I mean
Which
we
I
know.
mean was a good performance,
Oh yeah, it was. I mean we know the record, man. He's basically undefeated in the UFC, but got the no contest 28.
which could be voided. I mean, honestly, now when you think about it with the rules and stuff, but that's a hearsay.
So it's just like now when you think about him, Chuck, because again, if this is his career and it's over, like right now, all the accolades.
I know I can think of every single thing because I mean Jon Jones is one of the people who got me into fighting originally.
Hmm.
Him, Nate Diaz. Anderson Silva, Forrest Griffin. Like, I mean, I can. There's a list. I trust me. I'm not. There's a list of fighters, but like I'm saying, like the top five or four that really got me paying attention at first. Those were the top four or five. And like, I mean, that was from his debut in UFC 87 in 2008 versus Andre Guzmão. Like that was a great debut. And like just to think about the next fight that he had against Stephen, like I can like it's just to think about every single thing that he went through, and then you had the controversy at least with everything that he went through. Like it's just crazy to think that he just ended, boom, poof, gone.
Yeah, because then he had his official post on Instagram where he said he was announcing his retirement. Decision comes after a lot of reflection. Wants to express the deepest gratitude of the journey. When he first stepped into the octagon, he said his goal was to push the boundaries of what was possible in the sport,
Oh my.
becoming the youngest UFC champion in history, defending my title against some of the best fighters in the world, sharing unforgettable moments with fans across the globe. And then he wants to thank UFC, his family.
So you want to know something funny about that?
What's up?
I saw a tweet and they were like, they ran it through, like those AI tools to check for AI. They said
Hmm.
this motherfucker couldn't even make a legit ass,
Oh
retirement
no.
speech. And they said they ran it through. There was 100% AI. I don't know how much belief I can put in that because sometimes those AI tools can actually suck and stuff. But I mean, some of it, I mean, it did sound kind of just generic, you know? It didn't sound like heartfelt. It was just like, I was great. I did good. I'm, like, I don't know. It just didn't sound like anything crazy. He could have like put so much more effort into it, I feel like.
Yeah, Jon Jones, two-time undisputed UFC light heavyweight champ, defended that bout 11 times and more times consecutively, eight than any other fighter. Obviously, we know he moved up to become the heavyweight champ when he won the 205 title belt in 2011. He was at 23 years old, becoming
Yeah,
the
man.
youngest.
Youngest UFC champ. 23, man.
Hmm.
That's insane to think about. I mean, no other fighters really have gotten that close. Maybe they had Macy Barber at one point. They thought that she was going to be like that. I mean, Sean O'Malley. I mean, you think there were some younger fighters that came on pretty young that people thought, like Paul Rojas. They thought we're going to immediately just jump to the top, and no one's ever done it really except John. Yeah, like you said, youngest UFC champ at 23. He's had 16 title fight wins, longest light heavyweight title reign, only fighter to beat five former champs consecutively, dual division champion. Um,
One of eight people to just hold belts in two different weight classes.
yeah, one of eight. It's one of the hardest things to do.
I mean, it's
I mean, between the weight cutting and everything else, I mean, and it's crazy. I mean, some of the fighters that he beat to get to the top is insane.
mhm.
And it's just insane that it ended so quickly like that. Um, and then you just think about all his legal troubles that he's had.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, so what's the I mean, we hate that term, but it's a term. But like, what's the legacy of the man? Because, like you said, we just named all those accolades in UFC. You could just say the man's the GOAT. And that's fine. But then you just said something earlier about like how if he even tried harder. If Jon Jones didn't get into the other side, the personal problems that we experienced with Jon Jones, if he would have stayed out of his own way, how much better would he have been?
That's the thing, though. That's the crazy thing to think about. Like, to think that this is Jon Jones at maybe, I'd say 80, 70%, because like that 25 to 40%. That's because that's the other part of going out partying. That other part that's taxing your body, the other part that's destroying you. Like if he was 100% clean and sober, like as a whistle, I mean, I didn't even say he has to be sober. He could have maybe like drank a little bit of alcohol for here and there. But like if he was 100% like straight and narrow, like and fully textbook and just boom, 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 focus, 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 this band probably would have been so much more insane than what he was.
Hmm.
But that's the thing. That's a what if. And that's the thing you're going to think about in his career. It's not a what if. This is his history. This is his past. This is who he is. And that's one thing that knocked him down the totem pole for me. Because like if he wasn't one of the if he didn't have all this legal trouble and all the different things that he had and stuff like that, especially the one with like his wife and that whole incident, like if that whole scenario, maybe I would have him in a different light. You know, everyone would have him in a different light. But there's that overhanging shadow over all that light,
Hmm.
and that just sits there and dampers that light down, and it just engulfs it. And with this whole new scenario, all it's doing is just engulfing all that light, and all he's going to be remembered for is that darkness.
Well, Chuck, talk about the new scenario if people don't know. What's going on with John on the legal side?
So apparently there was a hit and run accident in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Lady was found in a car, half dressed, super intoxicated. She was in the passenger side and said that she was with John. She was at his house doing shrooms and drinking and who knows what else. Um, and then that he was driving her back to who knows where. I don't know. It just the whole scenario in general, like, and then John's like, this is just, and then like, I don't know. You see the video, then she
Hmm.
does the phone calls, and it sounds like the person on the phone's making threats, pretty much like, um, it's just you can go out there and listen to it, um, but pretty much. And like if you listen to it, it sounds like John. Like I mean, if you listen to
Right.
the voice, it sounds like John. So that makes it even 1,000 times worse. You don't know, people could be using AI or anything like that nowadays, or but still, the whole way this stuff is being looked at right now, it looks like John's guilty as fuck.
Hmm.
Which, if you look at the past and you look at his history, it's gonna make you think he's guilty as fuck. So I mean, like with the history, like with his 2012 DUI and car crash, then he had what a hit and run in 2015 where he wrecked into the pregnant woman and fled the scene.
Hmm.
He's had probation violation for drag racing in 2016. Um, just like he's had other stuff too here and there, but like those are the significant driving incidents, and that's what the reoccurring theme is: intoxicated driving incidents. And what is this an intoxicated driving incident? I mean, it's a repeated pattern. It looks like something, like if it what's the fucking saying?
Walks
If
like
it
a duck, quacks like a duck.
is fucking duck.
Yep.
This is even more funny applicable scenario because what the fuck did he do with Tom Aspinall? Probably fucking duck. Okay. Anyway, sorry, you set me up perfectly for that, so I had to. I mean, the whole issue with him and Daniel Cormier. I mean, how that got drug out. The fucking PEDs getting suspended for that
Hmm.
because what he failed for what clomiphene and letrozole. And that's when he got that was like in UFC 200, and he got suspended and stripped. He declined like a fight late notice with Chael Sonnen. He got like an altercation with Cormier too. Also, um, it's just I've had incidents with also the UFC. So like, I mean, it's just I don't even know with John anymore. You had the whole incident with him and his wife too. Who knows what that happens with that? John. That's all you're going to think about when you think about his career. Man, what a hell of a fighter. Great. It's like, what do you think when you think of Mike Tyson?
Ooh, first thing that comes to mind is the ear biting, knockouts, having to reinvent himself because he did go to prison. Like he, so.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I'm not saying Mike Tyson hasn't changed as a person, but you know, Mike was a crazy motherfucker, and
Hmm.
it was had a past, but he was a hell of a fighter. But he's had a past. That darkness engulfs the light. Everything that he's done and he's worked for, all he's doing is just pissing on it, pissing it away. If you really want to be a family man, John, just like if you're going to retire, retire, bro. Just sit down, settle, relax with your daughters and your wife, and change your life. You know?
What Yeah, because you just listed like there he got in a lot of trouble. A lot. Like Chuck, if it was any other fighter who didn't even have Jon Jones' ability, would he even still be in the UFC with the amount of trouble John's gotten in?
No, because there's been fighters who've definitely gotten in trouble and gotten released by the UFC for doing just about the same stuff just one time.
Like,
There's times, I mean, Dana, I feel like Dana is also very lenient with his fighters in some scenarios. So yeah, Dana's going to hang around and hang on to some pieces because Dana will, I'm not gonna lie, Dana will hang on to some pieces of shit. I ain't gonna lie. He will hang on to some pieces of shit.
oh,
But I mean, if you have star ability though, yeah, you're untouchable. But if you're not that great of a fighter, you can get cut for certain things. If it's repeat offenses, definitely probably get cut. And like if it intervenes and messes up the fights and stuff like that, yeah, you could probably get cut. But it's all situational. That's pretty much how I'd see it. It's probably all situational.
man. Man. Chuck, there was also a crazy stat that you shared now with John not being the champ. So with Jon Jones' retirement, there's currently no American male champions in the UFC. First time since 2004. But that was just when they only had four active divisions. That's been the case. I made the joke. I was like, dang, the UFC divisions become the men's become the NBA MVP award since American hasn't won that in a minute.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, that's what it feels like. I mean, pretty much if you look at it too, Russia is one of the both top countries that well was the top one of the
But
so
yeah, go ahead.
like I was saying. Um, yeah, no, I mean, it's hopped around from place to place. And as can have seen, Russia and a lot of the wrestling background countries were dominating for a while. I mean, you have Brazil, Georgia, New Zealand, Dagestan, yeah, South Africa, another Russian, South Africa, and England, China. Like, yeah. So, I mean, actually, technically, there is a US born champion. Well, yeah, there is a US born champion. That's a lie.
Who is it?
Kayla Harrison.
Oh,
There
yeah.
we go.
Well, this one's male champions.
That's true. But
But you're right. Kayla Harrison is born
that's
who
the
just
only
won.
one that's the only one we can hold on to hope for.
That's crazy. And shoot, just a quick thing with that. I mean, last time we were on, we talked about her fight and how it was going to be a crown moment, and we were right. She did get crowned at that point. Then you had Amanda Nunes hop in there and probably going to get her out of retirement to fight that, which that will be crazy. Like that, that's going to be a big one. That's main event right there.
Yeah.
But we got ways to go with that. Right now, you see the world just about Jon Jones. Everyone's sharing their praise, like, "Oh, congratulations, GOAT! Congratulations, this, that."
Yeah.
And
Well, some are sharing some stories. I don't know. I've seen one from Derek Brunson. Derek Brunson was like, "Yeah, I used to hang around John, and pretty much he used to do some crazy stuff." And I was like, "We don't need to do all that around. Like, they've got the girls here. We're chilling. Like, we don't need to be doing all that around them." And he was like, "If I wanted my dad to be around me and hang out with me, I'd ask for my dad to." And he said, "Ever since then, I haven't hung around John." And I was like, "Well." No, and everybody's like, well, what's the other stuff? He's like, well, I consider drinking other stuff too, but like, I don't know. I don't think that was the only other stuff. We already know John at least was on booger sugar, but who knows with John now?
Chuck, any cadence to the rumors he retires so he could be let go from UFC and then he could go fight Francis Ngannou and his stuff?
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he probably actually would like to try and get paid out because I mean, going out on those, I mean, you've seen what YouTubers have done and seen how much Jake Paul and them have been making money. He knows he can do a mega fight and the PFL, I mean, yeah, they're gonna let Francis Ngannou go and do whatever he wants. They'll be like, go ahead, yep, go ahead. All you're gonna do is bring more attention to us. Go ahead, go fight him. This is they can see the dollar signs. We're gonna get a percentage of that. Okay, a little bit. That's fine. That's still and that's a promotion that someone else has to put on. Fine by me. Go ahead.
Chuck, I don't
And
know
they
if
would
you
make
know
so
this,
much money.
but when UFC fighters retire, is there a clause of how long they have to wait before they pursue another promotion, or can like what's the rule now? As soon as they
I don't think
retire,
there is.
okay.
Because I mean, shit, how long was it till Connor and Floyd? And that was a whole thing right there too. So yeah, no, I don't think there's any clause. I mean, Tito Ortiz and yeah, I don't think there's any clause. So I feel like they can probably just go ahead and just get it on with. But I don't
Okay.
think that John's there yet. Like I said,
Yeah, because like you just said, I could see him do some celebrity fights on Netflix and all of that.
yeah, that's probably. I mean, they do it HBO Max, Netflix, anywhere. They can put it on any promotion, and they know it's going to sell. Anybody's going to buy that. You put that as a headline, have two like good undercard fights. They'll be like, all right, that's good enough. Then put the TikTok triller and all the other stupid endorsements that nobody wants to see. But
I
they'll
would be.
actually fight. They'll scrap. They're gonna scrap. But I don't
Right.
know. That'd be interesting. An outside source MMA fight. Ooh, through an outside production. That'd actually be very interesting to see if they put that on. Get a lot of different retired UFC fighters. Get people like Nate Diaz. Shit, if crazy ass Connor. Some people would work through to get some shit like that done.
Right.
I made the idea first. Let me get a percentage.
Oh, Chuck, if you had one word to describe Jon Jones, man, you've been following this guy since the beginning. What's the one word you use to describe him?
I think the word that I have to describe him, he would love to hear. Controversial.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you think about it, his career in the UFC controversial. Because towards the end of his career, a lot of people had questions about how some of his fights were won. They had a lot of questions about him ducking fights in the end of his career. They had
Hmm.
a lot of questions about how serious and dedicated he was. They had questions about his off the cage out of the cage stuff, I guess. And just every single aspect was controversial of his career. I mean, even getting the belt at 23, that's controversial. You know, that's the youngest to do it. It's all controversy based around his life and career. And that's the way I think you would describe him. Because I mean, even with this whole CTE rampages to be going on, I mean, controversial.
Yeah, I agree. Controversial is a good one. I was thinking of words like complex or obviously talented and maybe even untapped potential.
Yeah. I think his career will go down as a cautionary tale.
Hmm. I mean, man, again the true hate. Just think of his career, the true hate for him and Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier was talking about it just a couple days ago. He's like, Jon Jones needs to retire. He needs to relinquish the belt if he's not going to fight. And I agree, man. If you're not fighting consistently because you don't want, like, it's not happening now, you got to give that belt up.
Yeah. Because I mean, you're not doing anything for the organization. You're just kind of there and you're
Hmm.
just bringing it down because there's no movement in that heavyweight division because there's no belt defenses. So no one's entertained because they're like, all right, when's the other person going to even fight? So
Right. Shit. It's crazy. I didn't think we would ever on this podcast this early in the game have the Jon Jones retirement episode this early. Like this is 2025. It felt like he had more ways to go, and then just to retire out of the blue, I don't get it. The fact he said he just called Dana, said I'm retiring, basically click whatever, but where does he go from here? He still has legal issues that he's dealing with, that he's always in the mix of stuff for no reason. I don't understand who's Chuck, I don't understand who's in this man's like circle to be like, hey man, you need to calm this down.
well, I mean, if you think about it, think about his brother, Chandler Jones. Think about
Hmm.
all the stuff that he's gone through and think about all the different moments he had and like the him going on live and going crazy, the whole outbreak with the Raiders organization and everything. It was
Hmm.
almost like Antonio Brown in a way, the way it was just like everyone's like CTE, there it is. And I mean,
Hmm.
you can see it with John right there too. I mean, it seems like he's probably definitely suffering through the same thing. I mean, you go through a combat sport where you're getting bashed in the face and in the head constantly, you're going to have some repercussions for it, just like any other UFC fighter or combat sports person.
Agreed. Agreed. Chuck, anything else, man, on this Jon Jones special episode?
I got a question for you,
Oh, sure.
actually. So, do you think John will be remembered, or do you think of him as the GOAT?
Oh, if. Uh, I think when it comes to strictly in that octagon, accolades and all of that, I do think he's the GOAT of you of the that. However, I've never felt like he was the face of UFC.
Oh, no, no, no,
Which
no.
he
We know who
should
the
be.
face is.
Which he should be. It's never should have not been him, but the amount of trouble that you've gotten yourself into, especially some of these DV sexual, like all this stuff is not good.
Yeah.
And like the drugs, I mean,
It's like Connor. I mean, Connor was the face. Connor was definitely the face of the UFC, if not still sometimes the face of the UFC.
yeah,
Like if he
he's
came back, people are going to be like, "Woo, it's Connor." But now that he's had so much controversy, that dimmed his face as the face too. So
well, I
that's why
also
they're looking for their new face.
yeah, that's weird because Jon Jones, I mean, he's definitely better than him, Ronda Rousey, all that. But if you had to casual on the street, they'll bring up Conor McGregor and Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey hasn't been in there ever since she got her ass kicked by Amanda in ages. They'll bring those up before they think of Jon Jones, and Jon Jones is the best ever. So what does that say about you? That you're bringing up these people ahead of you? Like, what have you done to promote the sport? What have you done to put it in a limelight instead of you every 2 seconds? Oh, he's failing a drug test because he's snorting cocaine, or oh, he's in a domestic dispute again. Oh, he's doing that. Like
Exactly.
in Octagon, best ever. I mean, it was just proven the man was totally gifted. Height, arm length, technique. Like the record shows that no one could stop him. But the only person who could stop Jon Jones, we've said a million times, the only person who could stop him is himself. And he kept losing himself over and over and over again. And it sucks. But that's where we're at.
Facts.
So, with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. You will not have to wait long for the next UFC episode. We will be actually back relatively soon to talk some UFC, some other fighters, and we'll go from there. With that being said, L7C signing out.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the L7C podcast. Be sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on all social media platforms, and we'll be talking to you guys soon. Take care.